Welcome everyone, Farmer Cop here. This is going to be a guide to the HAT-TITUDE adjustment, which I think is hilarious. It's basically a hats factory for Farming Simulator 25 here. This is by Lander73, 6.9 megabytes to download. It is for all platforms. So this is actually a pretty cool factory. It gives you something a little bit different. I like factories that add something to the game and look a little different. Yes, this is a building we've had before. I believe it's like one of the spinneries, but the color's been adjusted. They have a new sign on it. I think it looks pretty cool. So yeah, obviously to place this down, we're going to talk about also the profitability of it as well. To place this down, you go into your productions, and then right here, it's this guy. You can rotate it wherever you need to put it. It says overlap center objects. You could hit B to overcome that. If you're on PC, I don't know what the key is on console. It only says that for me because this map has issues for me. It hates me. But you can see like over there, I can place it. But anyhow, so yeah, I have one placed over here, which is great. The side on the left side over here in this area, this is where you're going to put any pallets, fill types, bales, whatever you want to put in there. I like that it also takes bales. We'll talk about that. And actually, we'll just go ahead and let's add in a bale. We'll need some straw. Let's do, yeah, that'll be fine. Just one bale is fine. Okay, and then if we go to the other side here, this is where your products are going to spawn out. And I believe, where's the wrench at? Here's the production menu here. This actually might be technically the front of the factory. I don't really know. I don't think it matters that much, to be honest. You can't go in it, but you can see inside there, which is kind of cool. I don't know. It's a little bit transparent. But yeah, you can go in here, hit R to go into the menu here, or if you just are away from the trigger, you can also just hit escape. You're on the map or whatever, you go down to the productions, and then here you are. But what does this do? Well, it makes hats, as I mentioned. So you can make chip tex hats, fabric hats, felt hats, maize tex hats, and straw hats. And over here, you can see the different inputs. We have corn, digestate, fabric, honey, lime, straw, water, wood chips, and wool. Depending on what hat you're making, you may need some or all of, well, not all of these. None of them require all of these. Some are, you know, some amount of these or just one of these, depending. Then down here, we have our outputs, all of the different hats. So if you look at the chip tex hats, for example, down here, if you don't know how the productions work, we have a couple pieces of information here. It says status is inactive. If I click over here and activate, it'll say running. And then if it doesn't have the materials, say materials missing, a little exclamation point will show up right there. I'm going to deactivate it for now. Cycles per month is how many times it does the recipe. So it says 2,400 cycles. So this recipe down here, which we'll talk about in a second, it'll do that 2,400 times. And then $360, that's 2,400 times a month. And it costs $360 to have this activated per month. If you don't have it activated, it won't charge you that money. And this also varies depending on, you know, your days per month a little bit. And what I mean by that is if you're set to 1 day per month, then this is going to be what it's going to cost and how many cycles it's going to do every day. If you have your game set to, well, for example, 9 days per month, then this is going to be happening every 9 days. So it divides out over that. Just kind of a little FYI for you. But yeah, and then down here, the recipe is 5 liters of water, 2 liters of digestate, 3 liters of wood chips to get 2 liters of chip tex hats. And that's, you know, then for the fabric hats, we have 2 liters of fabric to 1.5 liters of fabric hats. All units are in liters. That just is the way Farming Simulator is. This one requires water, digestate, wool, and lime to give you felt hats. Maize tex hats are water, corn, and honey. Straw hats are just straw. So there you go. Pretty straightforward. Now over here, the output mode is set to storing. So what storing means is it's going to slowly fill up the capacity in here until there's enough to spawn a pallet. Then it'll spawn a pallet in this area right over here. And that's all it's going to do. And then it'll keep doing that until there's no room here. Once there's no room here, it'll just slowly fill this up until this gets full and then stop running. If I change the output mode, so if I click over here and then hit change output mode, if I set it to selling, it's going to automatically sell every hour whatever is in the capacity or whatever's in the facility here for each of these, and you're going to get paid a little bit for them. It does take about 20 to 30% of your profit, so just be aware of that. And if I change that to distributing, it'll distribute these to another factory that requires those hats as an input, which doesn't really exist, at least as of right now, and I don't think it ever will. So if you do have it set to distributing, nothing's going to happen. It's not going to spawn any pallets. It'll just slowly fill up in here. So just be aware of that. But we're going to leave them all in storing, and we are going to go ahead. We're not going to activate them actually just yet. Let's put some materials in here. So over here, this is the endpoint. So we have a lot of different materials we need to put in. I'm going to activate super strength so I can move these pallets and this bale without any issues. If you're on console, you can use liftable pallets and bales. It's a mod by Yoast Modding if you want to have pallets that are liftable. And if you're on PC, you can just activate super strength using various mods for that. But put your bale over here. There we go. It went in. Pallets of wool. Boom. Boom. Really straightforward. I like the trigger on this one. It's really easy to use. I'm trying to get all these honey pallets in there at once. There we go. And we have some fabric pallets. Boom, boom. And lastly, that one. Now you also should be able to put stuff in bulk. Let's go and fire these tractors up. So if I go over top of this right here, straw is an example of one that you can do in the form of a bale or in the form of bulk. So we'll go ahead and just max out their straw. This thing holds 500,000 liters. It's an unrealistic capacity trailer. Get that dumped in there. I wonder how much straw it actually holds. Well, more than I thought it would hold. But I guess that makes sense. It uses quite a bit of straw if you want to do it that way. But yeah, let's go ahead and fill this with, let's do corn. Corn's another input that it requires. So put that one in there. And what else do we need to put in here? Well, we got wool in there. We'll need wood chips in a second. And we'll get water and digestate here in a second as well. We've got corn in there. Let's do lime and wood chips now. Let the corn fill up. You have 200,000. I guess for some of them it holds quite a bit. Just depends on what the product is. Let's go ahead and fill this with... Oh, let's do our... Let's see what comes first here. Let's see. There's our wood chips. Let's go ahead and do those. Wood chips also can be in the form of a pallet. Some sawmills will produce wood chips in the form of a pallet. And I'm not here to talk about how you get all these ingredients. I'm just here to tell you how to put them in. I have tutorial videos out on my channel on pretty much every aspect of every part of Farming Simulator. So you should be able to find videos there if you're looking to find out how to make some of these products or get them. Lime you can buy in the store. Yeah, and then you can either put it in the trailer to haul it over here, or you can haul the pallets over here. So lime's another one that you can do by pallet or in bulk like this. We'll get that put in there real quick. And then that'll be pretty much everything except for our liquids. Yeah, we'll grab the liquids here in a second. All right, let's pull this just out of the way. Oh, we'll drive it over here, so it's definitely out of the way. All right, and this guy got digestate already preloaded up in here. This is also another unrealistic trailer capacity, so it's got that set for it. We'll just get... There we go. Very specific trigger area there. We'll get that digestate put in there, and then we will also put some water in here in a second. As soon as I hear that it's unloaded, there we go. Put water in, and then that'll be all of our materials in. And now what we're going to do in a second is activate all of these to get them working, and then we'll talk about the profitability, which would be pretty sweet. So there we go, water's in. And now I'm going to go ahead and activate them and get them all produced in, and I'll bring you guys back in when we got some products. All right, it took a little bit for some of them to get made. I did fast forward time just so we'd be at noon and have some light, but you can see we have a box of fabric hats. We have a box of Chip-Tex hats. We have a box of Maize-Tex hats. We have a box of felt hats, and we have a box of our straw hats right over here. Now, all of these are going to require either super strength, or they're going to require you to use like a pallet fork or something to move them, so just be aware of that. Now, to sell these, all you got to do is you got to come into here, find whichever one you're trying to sell. There's Chip-Tex hats. Find a place on the map that's going to take them. So like the warehouse will buy them and then take them over there, drop them off at that point, and then you will get your money for your hats. Now, the hats are worth quite a bit, actually, which is quite good. So let's go ahead and talk about the profitability. First off, this factory is not divided. What I mean by that is if you have all of these activated at the same time, they will all run at full speed. Some factories, as you activate more different recipes within them, they will slow down some of the production for the recipes and divide the recipes. But this is undivided, so you can have all of these running at full force all the time, which is quite nice. Now let's go ahead and talk about the profitability. Here's my production chart, which is linked down below in the description. You can download a copy of it, and you can make changes if you'd like to. Oh, sorry, just... Every time I hover over the wrong area, it brings up whatever the news feed is that's default for Windows. But yeah, here we are. So the hat production here, we have Chip-Tex hats, fabric hats, felt hats, all that good stuff. So let's look through how this works first to understand it. So we have Chip-Tex hats here is the product. If you look at the top, it has all of the different categories of what the different, the different columns are. So we have Chip-Tex hats, inputs of water, digestate, and wood chips. The cycles per month is 2,400 cycles. Takes 5 liters of water, 2 liters of digestate, and 3 liters of wood chips per cycle. This is how much each of those cost, and I'll explain that. And then we have the output. That's how many hats we're producing. That's how much those hats are worth. And this is the profit per cycle, which also, if you look at our calculation that I have set up for this, it includes the fact that it costs $360 a month to run this. So it includes that in the cost. This is the profit per month, which is basically just the profit per cycle multiplied by the cycles in a month. And then we have how much you need to put in to keep this fully running. 12,000 liters of water, 4,800 liters of digestate, 7,200 liters of wood chips, and then you're going to get 4,800 liters of hats. So 4.8 pallets of hats a month, which is quite nice. So yeah, you can see 43,000 for that, 76,000 if you get all 4 inputs for the felt hats and you can get that production rolling. Yeah, that's worth a lot there. I think the fabric hats and the straw hats honestly are a little too good. So this one obviously is the most profitable, but it requires 4 inputs. Fabric is quite expensive, but it only is 1 input, but you still have to produce the fabric. Straw you just get as junk off your field, basically, and you're making a ton of money off of this. And so how this is calculated, how are we calculating this profitability? This input cost, we're looking at, and this is all in normal economy mode. That's how the numbers are based. So if it's easy economy mode that you're playing in, these are going to be inflated a little bit. If it's hard economy mode, these are going to be deflated a little bit. So just be aware of that. So this is what we're looking at. Let's look at fabric, for example, here. If we were to take this fabric, 2 liters of fabric, which is how much is needed per cycle, and sell it, we would get $14 basically for the 2 liters. But if we were to take it and put it through here, we're actually going to take that and we're going to make an extra $8.55 on it, because the hats that we're making from it are sold there. So basically we're looking at all these products and looking at, is it worth it to put them in this production, or should we just sell them by themselves? All of these are fairly profitable and fairly worthwhile. Now, if you look at the values, here's the values I used. Digestate, lime, straw are here. Water's up at the top. I assume you can get free water from somewhere on the map you're playing on, and then all the other, default game ones are in here. The modded production ones are all highlighted orange, but here are the ones for this mod here. Those are the prices that you get at like the best price to sell them for. So you can see that's the price for them per 1,000 liters. And over here I have documented that this is not a divided production. So yeah, and if you get different numbers on the map that you're playing on, you can come in here if you download this, and you could change these values in here, and it'll reflect the new values and new calculations on here. So there you go. But yeah, that is the hat production. Really cool mod, I think. If you guys enjoyed this video, please drop a like down below. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button up on the screen to join the Farmer Cop channel, and turn on your notification bell so you don't miss any future videos I may post. This has been Farmer Cop. Thank you guys for coming and watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.